On the road to Macstock with Jill McKinley. This is MacVoices. Today's MacVoices is supported by MacVoices After Dark. Uncensored, off-topic, and always off the wall. MacVoices After Dark is available as a benefit to our Patreon subscribers. Sign up at patreon.com/MacVoices. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, we are still rambling down the road to Macstock Conference and Expo in Crystal Lake, Illinois in July. We're talking to as many of the speakers as we can get time with, so you know who you'll be talking to and seeing present at Macstock and what they will learn, what you will learn from them. This time around, I'm happy to welcome back Jill McKinley. Jill, it's great to have you back as not just on MacVoices, but also as a Macstock speaker.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always great to see you, and it's always great to be here, too. I'm excited about Macstock.
You know, how can you not be excited about Macstock? You know, that's the thing. I know we talk about it with everyone here, everybody that shows up on the road to Macstock, but it's one of the favorite weekends of the year for just about everybody because not only do we get to see so many friends, new and old, but we also get to learn some great stuff from speakers like you. So, what are you going to be talking about this year?
Well, I thought about it hard, and one of the things that has been the obsession for me this past year is I have lost 60 pounds, and I am trying to get healthy. Now, losing weight's a big part of that, but there's more to getting healthy than just losing weight. And I realized when I was thinking about what I was going to present, I haven't heard a presentation on the Apple Echo system of fitness, health, tracking things. And really, if you buy any device inside of the Apple world, you have a ton of resources available to you to help you get healthy and get fit. And I just wanted to, for once, have a topic that wasn't exactly what Mike Schmitz was talking about. So that was my attempt. I tend to talk productivity, and he does too. So.
Okay, well, yeah, look, productivity is a big thing, but so is fitness, and especially with the focus on fitness that Apple has. So, I mean, how are you going to focus on the hardware, the software, the services, or the whole package?
The whole package. I mean, I think, like I said, if you bought any device, you have a lot, and then there are more with the services that you can get as well. So you can build on what you have, or you can just use what you have and have it help you get fit. Yeah. And more's coming.
Yeah. So as we've said to everyone, we don't want you to give the presentation here. We just want to talk around it a little bit, give people an idea of what they're going to hear. But I will ask you this, as someone who sounds like you've been very successful with this, how tough is it? How intrusive has it been into your life?
Well, it has been intrusive my whole life. I mean, I think I first realized I was overweight when I was 8 years old. And I have tried my whole life. And really, I think I always kind of joked, I'm not getting better as a human being, but technology is helping me become better. You know, you pay your bills online, you never forget, you're never late, right? All the different things that technology can do to improve our lives, I have taken advantage of it, and it has made me a better person. And now this last step, this last battle I have of losing weight and getting fit, I am using Apple to its full extent in order to help me do this.
All right, so we know you're an Apple person, right? Let's just get that out of the way.
Well, we'll get that. Yeah, the whole conference is too.
Well, yeah, good point. So is it fair, and maybe if I'm asking personal questions, then we'll cut them out. But have you tried other systems, methods, equipment, whatever, to achieve this goal and found them wanting where the Apple stuff has been successful for you? Or is it just something that because it's so much easier to do, you've found success with it?
Well, partially it has to do with the fact that you go on any system, you go on Weight Watchers, and they give you a little notebook and you write down what you eat, and then you get points for it. And almost every diet system out there on the planet has some sort of a tracking method. But the thing about Apple that makes it different for me, and it was different, I think, life-changing for me, is the fact that I can just forget I'm on a diet. I can just forget I'm supposed to exercise today. I know it sounds weird, but I'm, working on my podcast, I'm doing my things, I'm watching some show, and all of a sudden it's, 10:30 at night, and I think, oh, I didn't exercise. By making full use of everything that Apple has to offer, it's reminding me, it's beeping me on my watch. I have a schedule in place. I can see, what it is I'm supposed to do and when I'm supposed to do it. And so Apple fixed what was wrong with me in a lot of ways, of just forgetting, deciding not to do it, not holding myself accountable, that kind of thing.
It's really an interesting perspective on it, that the technology is making you better. And look, I know there are going to be people out there, because I know some of them, that say, yeah, the whole stand at the 10-minute mark in the hour, or 10-minute of mark in the hour, is just a nag, and they turn it off. And okay, so if you choose to turn things off, I don't care whether it's Apple technology or not. It's not going to help you. But from what you're saying, it sounds like this is just, it's not a nag, it's a reminder. It's something that doesn't annoy you. It encourages you.
Yeah. And I'm somewhat of a data point person. So I like seeing charts and graphs, and I can see my chart coming down, and I can see all sorts of details. I ran myself into some health problems with blood sugar. And so I could start recording that in an app, and it transfers over to the Apple ecosystem, and I can see all the charts. I can see where it coincides, and at what point it really started coming down in numbers. So it's not just about what Apple provides. It's about also taking data from other systems and other issues, bringing them into one spot. And I can see what works, what doesn't work. I saw some sleeping problems with the Apple ecosystem. People do that all the time, right? You have a to-do note and you write it on a Post-it note. It's not nagging at you, and maybe you lose the Post-it note, but the Apple system will help you remember what it is you needed to do. It's the same thing for fitness as well.
Okay, I like this. All right, so let's just have a little fun. So, which device do you think has been the most impactful? Recognizing that all the devices interact with the systems and basically the whole health thing. Is it fair to guess that it might be the Apple Watch, or is it, again, just everything together?
I mean, it is everything together, because I started adding on. So the last step for me, just as a spoiler alert, is I got Apple One, which came with Fitness, the Apple Fitness, and I started using that. But really what got me is, I mentioned before, my very first Apple device was an iPad. When I saw it, I knew I had to have this thing. I knew that it would be the thing for me. When I saw the watch and the fitness things of it, I knew this would be the thing that would break my brain into remembering to exercise and keeping fit and accountability. And so the watch in my health step was the most important.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that for me first started making me really aware of some of the options that are out there. And because it's, you strap it on in the morning and you forget about it. It's always there. And so, yes, it dings me every so often to stand, reminds me that I've hit my sleep goal at night, all sort of automatically. And I'm definitely not using it to the extent that you are. I'll just confess that right up front. But I like the idea that it's not something that I have to think about for at least part of it, that it's just automatic. Yeah. It's there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's beyond the reminders, because the reminders are there. Hey, Jill, go to bed. But I've also created house programs where it's go to bedtime, and 20 minutes after I get that notification, this house shuts down. And I could stay up and I could turn things back on again, but it is reminding me time to go to bed, because I'm one of those people, I can get embroiled in something on my computer and suddenly it's midnight.
Oh. Yeah.
So, so it's not just even, it's everything, so I have this entire house geared towards me getting healthy, and I have all the reminders set to me getting healthy. And then I've used various other applications to track my food, like I said, to track my glucose. You name it. It all comes then into the Apple system, and I can really get data out of that and look to see how I'm doing. And, I really didn't, hit my exercise goals this week. And I work out with a trainer, and I get to turn on the watch, and she's constantly looking at my watch. Does this look hard? Does this look hard? And she looks at my watch. She goes, not hard enough. I see your heart rate right there. And so she knows what is my threshold, for working out in certain things. So it's helping her keep me accountable.
She's a sadist. I love it. That's great.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned some other apps, and I'm not going to ask you to start naming them all, but how many supplemental apps? Because up till now, I feel like we've been just talking about what Apple gives you, and Apple gives you a lot. Mm-hmm. But as you said, there are a lot of apps out there and they interface with the Apple Health systems and the Health app and all. Give us an idea of what kind of things we're talking about, or how many.
I have tried many different apps, and one of my favorites, I'm going to just mention it, is Streaks, which is a habit tracking app, and it helps. And you can just click on your watch when you get these things done, or if you say exercise, when it notices you did an exercise on your Apple Watch, it checks it off for you. I don't use it anymore, primarily because I'm getting subscription fatigue. But I think at a point that was the most important tracker I had. Now what I've done is I have switched everything over to Todoist, because I can keep track of work, I can keep track of home, and I can keep track of habits. So it just was a way of consolidating subscriptions. But I think, so those two are the most I use, the biggest pieces that I use. And then the last one I use is something called MyNetDiary. And MyNetDiary is a food log type of thing. You record your exercise, you can put your glucose in there, you can put your water drinking in there, and if you pay for the advanced subscription, it'll show you every nutrient you get, you don't get. And so I started looking at it and saying, gosh, Jill, you really don't get enough calcium. Or, you really are pretty low on fiber, and I needed to do better with it. And so that's the really only two apps I use right now when it comes to it externally, but there are a lot of them out there.
That's interesting. You surprised me a bit with Streaks and Todoist. I mean, it makes perfect sense, and I certainly, we all understand the subscription fatigue thing, but I was waiting for you to say I have this, this diet app or this other app that monitors this for me or that for me, because listen, there's a whole industry that's popped up around these things that you can get scales that connect to your apps. And
I should really mention that.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, I should really mention that. I was thinking of them as devices as compared to apps, but I have the Withing bed sensor. It sits between your mattresses, and it measures your breathing, your heart rate, were you tossing and turning all night, and it tries to estimate, like the Apple Watch does, what stage of sleep you're in. And so I get reports out of that, and that all goes to Apple Health Kit. And then I have a Withing scale, which also transforms, ports my weight and body fat percentage and all those things into Health Kit as well. So I think of them as devices, but yes, they are technically apps as well.
Well, both, so
yeah.
So you really have created a whole ecosystem for yourself for health.
Mm-hmm. I think it's my last challenge. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I think it's a great idea. I'm anxious to hear. So are you going to relate your journey with this, and or have you developed a program that you think other people should follow?
I always try in my presentations to start out with a story, to bring people kind of into it. And so I will talk a little bit about my story, but that's just going to be brief. Mostly what I'm trying to do is show people, give them like a grand tour. If you have an iPhone, this is all the things you have. If you have a watch, you have more things. If you have an iPad or Apple TV, you can do some other things. And if you have the Apple Fitness Plus, that's even a step up from that, and try to give people a tour of what it is they have, maybe even right now. They've already paid for it. Why not use it?
Yeah. Are you bringing your stick?
Do you want me to bring my stick?
Yeah.
I didn't. My stick got a lot of requests last year, and I thought, well, the presentation was about sticks last time, or but I can bring it.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if that was maybe part of your whole health thing or not. So maybe we'll let folks be surprised. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, folks, you really need to go back and get the digital pass from when Jill did her first presentation at Macstock, because it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So Mike Potter has given all the speakers and everyone, well, not everyone, but given all the speakers and me a discount code to save you $50 on attending Macstock. Jill seems reluctant to give her code, so she's asked me to give mine. And so
it's actually the combination to my safe, so I can't tell you.
You can't. All right. That's a good excuse. So use my code MacVoices50 to get $50 off registration at MacstockConferenceandExpo.com. You can't stack it with any of the other speakers. I don't care if you use my code or if you use one of the other speakers' codes or if you don't use a code at all. Jill and I just want to see you at Macstock because it is so much fun. We learned so much. And as you can tell if you've been listening to The Road to Macstock, the topics are wide and varied. And even the ones that might be a little similar are coming at things from completely different angles. So you're going to walk away with, like I do every year, with so many notes and so many things you want to try. I promise you. And then we add in the fun factor. Because, well, Jill, until you came to Macstock that first year, you and I didn't know each other. And now I feel like I know you really well. We've been on a number of shows together. And that's just what happens, is friendships develop in the space of a weekend that last for years, if not longer. Yeah.
In fact, I've met people in my own town I didn't even know. And now I know them. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go. So, Macstockconferenceandexpo.com, the code MacVoices50 to take $50 off. Register, book your plane, book your train, drive, whatever you need to do, but get there because we're going to have a ball and we want you with us. Jill, thank you so much for the time. As always, I'm really looking forward to your presentation. Maybe you can get me to do a little bit more than I'm already doing. That's the beauty of some of these presentations.
Well, my whole podcast are small steps. So that's the whole idea is, can we get you just doing something small? I also forgot to mention that the WWC is coming up and there is promise of talk about Apple AI being embedded into fitness. So I did want to bring that up, that if something comes of that, I will also mention that. But yeah, I hope so too. I hope that it encourages everyone to start taking the next step.
So before we get out of here, I want to give you a chance to promote your other projects because I know you have one or two that deserve some attention.
Well, I think the best thing to do is to look in podcasts for Jill from the North Woods. I actually got that marketing from someone at Macstock. I said that to someone there and they said, that's it. That's your tag. And so now I use it. So Jill from the North Woods, you can find me on YouTube. You can also find me on podcasts. I have moved all my podcasts to YouTube now. And so you can either watch them or listen to them.
Perfect. Jill, thanks so much. I will see you in Crystal Lake in July.
See you there.
Folks, this is MacVoices. This is the Road to Macstock on MacVoices. I hope you'll keep listening because we have more speakers to talk to, more people to talk to, and we continue to encourage you to join us because it's going to be a lot of fun. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CashFly at cashfly.com.